This is MRN Out Loud, brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Woody Cain. Welcome to another edition of MRN Out Loud. This week, Josh Berry, the Las Vegas winner in the Xfinity Series for Junior Motorsports. That's his second of the season. Plus, he'll drive full-time for the organization next year. Josh Berry, next.
Gamers, start your engines. Meet the next generation of racing wheels. The award-winning Logitech G design is re-engineered to dial into your game physics, delivering unprecedented realism. Feel every shift, drift, and hairpin turn like never before. Our latest innovation in force feedback technology connects directly to endgame simulation engines and physics to produce higher fidelity, real-time responses. Through design, engineering, and the love of driving games, Logitech G takes racing simulation to another level. Go to logitechg.com.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Josh Berry is with us. He won the Las Vegas Motor Speedway race in the Xfinity Series for Junior Motorsports. And Josh, 2 wins now in the Xfinity Series, a bunch of top 5s and top 10s. I'm just curious, with Vegas kind of being the theme here, you being a long-time late model racer, and as you know, there are thousands of them across the country who are really good. What do you ever think about the odds of what you've been through over the last year happening to anybody? Because it has to be astronomical.
No, I mean, you're 100% right there. That's a conversation I've been having a lot, I feel like, over the last year. As we went through this and we, I had some media obligations last week pertaining to the late model race at Martinsville, doing some stuff for them. And this topic kind of got brought up, and it's just really amazing that this has all happened. I mean, it's like you said, the chances of it are so low, just so hard to get in the sport, let alone have the sequence of events that I've had in the past year. But it's just a credit to being surrounded by great people, just being, very lucky and capitalizing on opportunities. We've had, partners step up, be a part of that and support me and help continue that on. And, just amazing what the last year has been.
I have to do a double take every time I see the R for rookie beside your name, because, you're not a teenager, you're a 30-year-old guy, but you've been doing this for a long time. And my goodness, I saw a stat that blew me away, that you've been actually with Junior Motorsports, in their late model program and other stuff for over a decade now, with winning a Cars championship, with winning all the other stuff that you've done. Do you feel like a rookie still to this day?
No, not necessarily. I think at times I have this year, but I feel like, early in the season, potentially. And then, that kind of feeling, kind of went away a little bit. I think I felt confident in myself going into this opportunity. But I just know how hard this series is and how competitive it is and how hard it is to win races and run up front. So, I mean, I was pretty confident that we could have some good runs. I just didn't know where the what all we could accomplish. And we figured out pretty early on with the opportunity with the 8 that we were going to have some success. We had to put it together, but the reality of it is I've exceeded my expectations going to a lot of these places for the first time and running as well as I have. We only had practice a couple of times all year. I mean, you're just dropping the green flag. There's lots of things that have kind of been working against us, and we have done nothing but, just overcome those obstacles with starting position and different things like that are tough. So, I think it's been a great learning experience. The situation with the 1 and Michael recovering is obviously a difficult situation for everybody, but it's worked in my favor to get me some more additional opportunities and continue to gauge where I'm at as a driver going into the off season. Obviously I'm poised to be full-time in the Xfinity series next year. There's without a doubt that our expectations are going to be high from our side of things and from the outside. So this will be great for me going forward to continue to learn and gauge where I'm at and see what I need to do to be better.
Let's talk a little bit about the Las Vegas race, because this is your second race there in the Xfinity series. And earlier this year, you were solid, but at the end of this race, this most recent one, you guys were dominant. What's the difference between A to B? Does it have to do with that you're not visiting a place for the first time anymore when you went to Vegas?
Well, I think that definitely helped, having some laps there. In the spring, we were kind of, I give the 8 team credit there. They were taking somebody really green and to that race. That was only my third opportunity, second non speedway. And there was lots of things that we were figuring out about each other and myself. And obviously I was getting more comfortable and learning and continuing to, just try to, at that point, really, I'm just taking it day by day and really had to rely on them. And couldn't help like I can now. I think we were obviously more prepared this year, or, for the fall race, because I'd raced the whole season. And I think that, as a race car driver, obviously I've become a lot more confident and comfortable in the Xfinity series, and that paid off. I think, it just took some time. I think we had a plan going into that race that, we felt like the track would just continue to come our way the whole time. So we weren't necessarily surprised at the speed we had at the end. We thought we were kind of getting there. We were chipping away at it, made some small adjustments, really kind of was expecting it to come our way. And when it finally completely cooled off, it was good.
You guys lit the fuse at that point for sure. I'm curious about the dynamic of you bouncing around this year with all the different things that you've done, from a late model to a truck to an Xfinity car, even a cup car. The old cliche is you never forget how to ride a bike, but it's got to be a little bit of a challenge, at least in the beginning of these races, to get acclimated again, since you don't get much opportunity these days to practice and qualify. How do you manage that and think, okay, this car does differently than the truck or the late model, and get yourself acclimated every time you do that?
Yeah, it's definitely different. The obviously ran a good bit of the Xfinity season. That's been kind of the most normal. Besides obviously the late model too. I've raced that a lot. So that's like riding a bike. But
yeah,
the truck, it's been different. They have different motor packages, obviously way different aerodynamics, and so that's kind of been an experience learning that. And honestly, I've made some mistakes in that on pit road and things like that, just because I'm just not used to how the trucks race and what you have to do differently for them. As for my kind of preparation, it's been hard to judge that. I've had so many different opportunities. It's just hard to really figure that out, because everyone's different. All these teams do things differently and operate a little bit differently. So I think, this was a great opportunity for me with the one team at the end of this year to run a couple more races and really think about how I want my preparation and my weeks and things to look next year, when I'll be with the same car and same team every week. And we'll have, obviously that's going to be my, we're going to simplify my life significantly for next year, just to focus on that. And so really this has been a great opportunity to continue to think about how we want that to look, and what I need from the team, and what's going to be expected of me, and where my priorities are.
I do want to talk a little bit about next year, because obviously that's a huge story, but Focusing on this year for just another minute, do you know much about the rest of your schedule for this year yet? I mean, obviously the call for the Vegas race was almost last minute. So do you know what the rest of your calendar looks like, whether it's on the NASCAR side with Junior Motorsports or not?
Yeah, not exactly. The situation with Michael and the one team, like I said, we obviously all want him to continue to heal up and be better, and this is his race team. And but as for so how do I fit into that? I'll be at Talladega this weekend. And after that, it's kind of week to week just to see how he's doing and see where he's at. My schedule has pretty much been cleared completely to be available for this one team, whether that's just be there to support Michael or if I actually end up racing. So really that's kind of it. I'm not, outline a couple of opportunities here or there, but the reality is this is what I'm going to be doing next year. I need to be around and available for JRM if they need me. And we had an amazing moment last week winning that race and kind of overshadowed and all that a little bit is the one team's in the owners playoffs. We advanced them to the next round. That's an important goal for that group to try to continue that. So I don't know, like I said, we're just really kind of taking it week to week, but I'm gonna be here if they need me.
It's kind of like a fireman waiting for the alarm bells to go off and run down and jump in the truck and go, right? I mean, it feels has kind of that vibe to it. But looking ahead to next year, you mentioned you'll be full-time with Junior Motorsports. Do you know much about the people who will be with you on that team yet, or is it still TBA?
It's still working on it. I mean, I'm obviously relying on, Junior Motorsports and all their management here. I think, there's a lot of pieces that we still need to put in place. I'm really excited. And I know that they'll put together a good team for me, regardless of how we end up doing it. I mean, there's been no denying the fact that, there's the opportunity, possibility that we go to 5 cars over here. And there's, so there's lots of big pieces to the puzzle that need to be put together, but I'm confident and Dale and Kelly, LW, Ryan Pemberton, Joe Mattis, everybody over at JRM, I know that they'll be able to put us all together and we'll be ready to win some races next year.
I know you're the father of a young daughter, so I'm curious, with all this swirl and everything that's been going on this year, it has to make your head spin a little bit. So what do you do to kind of get away and clear your mind? I mean, you can't be racing 24/7. Nobody can do that. But I mean, what do you do to kind of clear things out and get away?
Yeah, that's like you said, that's kind of been a tough deal for me. I mean, obviously I've been gone a lot, and she's very young and she's really starting to grow and talk and do things that I really feel like I'm missing out. So like I said, like I kind of alluded to earlier, we're trying to figure out what we need to do for me for next year to make sure that, obviously I'm doing everything I need to on the competition and professional side of being a race car driver, but also being dad and a husband as well. So, right now free time is kind of slim, to be honest. It's, I still have a good bit of commitments with our late model team and being hands-on with that and the direction of that program. So basically whenever I'm not, have any obligations with our Xfinity team, that's kind of my focus, kind of normally like I've been doing the last, 10 years really. So we're trying to, like I said, trying to manage all that. Looking forward to getting through these last few weeks and getting some little bit of time off. But, like I said, there's a lot of preparation to do for next year.
I'm glad you mentioned the late model team because I'm curious. A lot of people don't know, do a lot more than just drive for that program. What happens to that program next year when you're not driving so much for it? I mean, I imagine you'll still try and do some when you can.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's been a kind of a focus of us, over the past month or two, really. As soon as when we realized that I was going to be moving up to the Xfinity series, what does that late model program look like? What is our next move with it? Is kind of been an ongoing discussion for all of us. Ideally for me, I would like to, race 3 or 4 times. Just depends on once the schedule comes out to see what's kind of available there. But I kind of need to be a little bit more hands off with just the day to day of the play of that program. And, our guys over there, Brian, that's been over there a long time. I mean, they're fully capable of handling that. It's just, I mean, the reality of it is that, I obviously drove, but handled a lot of the responsibilities for that, for my team, for my car. So it just, it's a lot to figure out and how we want to do that going forward. But the late model program is still going to be around. We're going to still do it. We're just trying to figure out how it's going to look.
Let's finish with this. September of 2020, if I had said, Josh, you're going to win a couple of Xfinity races, and that's going to lead to a full-time ride and all these other things that have happened in the past year, would you have believed that it was going to happen? I mean, when you were lying awake at night thinking, man, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? Was all this in the mix? I mean, obviously you hope for the best, but man, what a whirlwind. Yeah, no, I mean, the answer to that is, 100% no. I mean, I would have never thought that at all. I had, over the last few years, I can't tell you how many times at autograph sessions and things at those races, people would come up to me and say, hey, when are you going to get back in an Xfinity car or a truck or anything? And I mean, honestly, most of the time my answer was, I don't think I ever will. I don't, I feel like at that point, I mean, like you said, September 2020, Josh Berry is going to be a career late model racer, short track racer. And I've had many discussions with my wife and my friends about what I would, what I was going to do. I mean, do I continue the short track aspect of it, even though we've kind of accomplished goal after goal after goal? Like, how long could I continue moving the needle for me at a short track level as a race car driver? Do I need to step in more of a mentor or a crew chief role? Do I, I've had lots of conversations about that. Believe it or not, I mean, I really have. And I use this in my post-race media obligations after Las Vegas. A good perfect example of this is, a couple years ago, I was at a late model stock race at Southern National, and Matt McCall was there racing. And, obviously he's a Cup crew chief, and I walked up to him. I really had never talked to Matt hardly at all. And I walked up to him and I said, hey, I introduced myself and I said, hey, I'm at this point in my life where, I've accomplished all this stuff. I believe I had just won Martinsville late model race at that point, accomplished all these goals. And I'm like, what did you do? What was your mentality there? And he said, I went after it until I was 30. And then I stepped away, and I ran into Matt at an earlier race this year, maybe Dover, when I ran the Cup race at Dover, and he stopped me and he said, man, I'm glad I didn't tell you 29 because so much has happened for me at the age 30. I'm not saying that I was done racing at 30. I'm not, I'm just saying it's just an interesting, it was just an interesting turn of events there. And like I said, I'll be honest, I still don't know what I would have done if, I'm sure I would still be racing late models this year, but, with the family and everything, sometimes your thoughts change. I mean, we've seen that with a lot of the great short track racers. I mean, Lee Pulliam comes to mind. I mean, he's one of the best drivers I've ever really raced with and seen. And, he kind of made the decision to step away from driving and built his own team into a late model stock, really powerhouse now. So, that's just been a crazy turn of events. And I know that was a long-winded answer, but that's a good story. No, it was fantastic. It really was. And it's been an amazing ride to watch. And Josh, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on the big win at Vegas and the success you've had all year. Continued success in 22.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Sir, are you aware you were going 40 miles an hour? This is a residential area.
Sure, but I'm on my lawnmower? Wait, am I getting a ticket?
No, I've just never seen anyone top 9 miles an hour on one of those bad boys. And mow their entire lawn in 30 seconds? What got into you?
Well, it did fuel up at Sunoco this morning.
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Time now for the iRacing update presented by Logitech G. It all comes down to this. The 2021 eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series Championship is almost here. The final race of the playoffs will be on Tuesday, October 12th at the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. You can catch all the action and the iRacing countdown to green at enascar.com/live at 8:30 p.m. with racing starting on enascar.com at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, October 12th. Go to iRacing.com for all the latest news, feature videos, and more information on the world of iRacing. This iRacing update is brought to you by Logitech G. Through design, engineering, and a love of driving games, the Logitech G923 takes racing simulation to another level. Logitech G, the official wheels and pedals of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. We'll be right back.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there no matter where the road takes you. Go to HerculesTires.com. There you can find the nearest authorized Hercules retail location to you. Plus, you can use the tire tracker to find out which Hercules tire fits your vehicle the best. That's HerculesTires.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
That's all the time we've got on this week's edition of MRN Out Loud. We want to thank Josh Berry for being with us and wish him good luck in Talladega and in 2022 when he goes full time. Until we see you right back here next week, I'm Woody Cain saying thanks for joining us for MRN Out Loud.